Alistair's heritage quest. After the death of his stepmother, Margaret, Alistair climbed the old wooden ladder to the attic. He was carrying a broom to sweep away the thick cobwebs. While he was moving a pile of old rugs, he found a dusty, rectangular box. It wouldn't budge at first, but he pulled hard until it moved. Alistair was always a doubting Thomas. He never believed in family secrets or legends, but this box looked important. Alistair sat on a small mat and opened the box. Inside, he found a rusty metal seal and a jigsaw puzzle that someone had started long ago. There was also a letter with a strange bookmark inside it. This must have been my father's, Alistair thought. He felt like a guinea pig in a mystery experiment. He wondered if he was the true heir to something special. He removed the letter from the box and began to read. The paper was old, and he had to be careful not to crumple it. It mentioned a family heirloom that was lost years ago. Alistair realized he was starting a heritage quest. He decided to get dressed in his best coat and Wellingtons to find out the truth. He didn't want his search to be a failure. Alistair visited a small shop in town. He was familiar with the owner, a woman named Beatrice. The shop sold special oils to dye clothes and expensive perfumes. People often die without sharing their secrets, Beatrice said sadly. Alistair showed her the seal. He thought it could have belonged to a royal family. Beatrice looked at it through a glass and told him to visit his in-laws. Alistair went to see his father's sister-in-law. She was sitting in her garden, watching a small goat. The goat began to bleat when Alistair arrived. He showed her the seal, which featured a wild boar. "Your half-brother, Silas, has the other part of this story," she whispered. Alistair didn't want to pretend he knew Silas well. They had lost touch because he didn't want to lose his own identity. Alistair went to the library to look it up. He found a book about local history. He saw a picture of a shield with a wild boar that looked exactly like his seal. He took out his handkerchief to wipe his fair hair. The book said the treasure was hidden where the river makes a sharp bend. He felt the mystery was getting deeper, but he was determined to continue. He bought a ticket and boarded a train. The train conductor was a friendly man who wore a bright blue uniform. As the train moved, Alistair looked at the jigsaw puzzle pieces he had brought with him. "You must be going somewhere important," the conductor said. Alistair nodded. He realized he had been a doubting Thomas for too long. It was time to believe in his family. Alistair arrived at a small cottage by the river. He saw muddy footprints leading to the door. A man with the same fair hair as Alistair opened the door. It was Silas, his half-brother. Silas was surprised, but smiled. "I have been waiting for you," Silas said. "I thought you might never come to find your heritage." They sat together and started to put together the jigsaw puzzle. As the pieces began to fit in with each other, they saw it was a map. Silas showed Alistair a loose floorboard in the cottage. Underneath was a small chest. It wasn't filled with gold, but with old photos and journals. It was the true heirloom, the history of their family. Alistair felt a sense of peace. He was no longer a doubting Thomas. He looked at the photos and felt he finally belonged. He didn't lose his way. He found his home. Silas and Alistair shook hands, promising to stay in touch. Alistair walked back to the station, feeling satisfied that his quest was finally over. He knew exactly where he fit in.